suffering. And you'll find them working 2 jobs and 3 jobs. And some of us begin to develop attitudes towards them. And that's wrong. Because you don't know the struggle that they have gone through and the pain that they're going through every day. We don't understand. Why? Because we are not mixing with them. We're not talking to them. When we invite each other, we are very cliquish. The Arabs with the Arabs, the Indo-Pak with the Indo-Pak, the African Americans with the African Americans, the Bosnians with the Bosnians, and so on and so forth. The Caucasians with the Caucasians, and so on. We have to be more in a gathering of this nature. The social services has to be strong in our Muslim community. Brothers and sisters, only when we set up our communities in this way will we be able to enter the political arena. You cannot enter the political arena without a strong financial base in this country. You cannot enter the political sphere unless you have a strong economic base. You cannot. A lot of Muslims are now going into politics. And some of us seem to be very proud. Oh, we have a brother who's a senator, one who's in the House of Representatives, and then in all the state legislatures and so on. With all due respect for all these brothers and sisters who are in politics, let's ask ourselves the question, do you want them to represent us? Some of them are saying, oh, homosexuality is okay. We need to stand up for gay rights. They're part of our constituency. Imagine if tomorrow somebody said, look, we need to support killers because they're part of our constituency. We need to support adulterers, the prostitutes, because they're part of our constituency. Are we going to tolerate that? Even non-Muslims who are religious, like some of your Christians, they are running for office, but if they're asked about homosexuality, they'll say, no, we're against it. But the Muslims are saying it's okay. Why is that? Because they haven't had the fundamental education of Islam. Do you want those people to represent us? I hope not. It's not just a matter of putting bodies in the Senate and putting bodies in the House and in all the state legislatures across the country. They have to be people who are strong in the deen. Otherwise it does us no good. It does us no good. Brothers and sisters, I know a brother who was the personal advisor to Bill Clinton. We used to go to Sunday school together when I was small. He was the personal advisor to Bill Clinton in the 1990s. Financial advisor. But you know what? He became an atheist. So, we need to be involved in the politics, but it cannot be without a strong economic base. Cannot be without a strong economic base. The last thing, as part of education, we need to have a disciplined, structured way to give da'wah. Invite people, talk to people. Of course, establishing the community is the most major aspect of da'wah. When we invite people, and people come in to see the community, and they see how the Muslims are acting, once you set up that entire infrastructure, people will be amazed. I want to end with this one last story. Brothers and sisters, there was a man who came to our community at Dar es-Salaam. And he was a Christian pastor. He was 67 years old. He had been preaching for the last 40 years. He was an evangelist. he used to work for the last 25 years with a Muslim from Morocco in the same office. There was some business and they used to work in the same office. One day, the pastor told this brother, but look, you say all these great things about Islam, but you don't practice any of these things. And so, I don't think Islam is such a great religion. So the brother said, well, how do you know I don't practice Islam? So the pastor told him, you see, you don't understand. I've read a lot about Islam, and I don't see you practicing it. So the brother was surprised. You read a lot about Islam? He said, yeah, I read about a lot about Islam. I read this book and that book and this book and that. So the brother asked him, well, okay, tell me, how do you know that I don't practice Islam? He said, well, aren't you supposed to pray 5 times a day? He said, yes. I thought, I never see you praying. I never see you praying. He said, isn't it in your Islam that you're not supposed to go out with other women? He said, yes. He said, then how come you always take out the secretaries for lunch? The brother was quiet. He had to be. You know? So the pastor asked him, aren't you guys supposed to fast in Ramadan? He said, yes. He said, I always see you eating in Ramadan. So the brother was shocked at all these things. And the brother said, no, okay, I know, I've been a hypocrite. He said it himself, I'm not saying this, he said it himself. He said, I know, I've been a hypocrite, but you need to come to my community. Because the brother is part of our community. He said, you need to come to my community. So he brought the pastor, and we sat and we talked. And the pastor said that, I have never seen anything like this. And he saw that, in our community, we have the school that's running, and we have a separation between the brothers and the sisters. The sisters have their side and the brothers have their side. So he said that I've never seen, because he was observing everything, and he saw that how everybody was polite and everybody was helpful and so on and so forth. The manners were totally different, something he's not used to seeing. So he said that this is the first time that I've actually seen Islam being practiced. Because when the time for Salah came, we break for the Salah, Salah, Salah. So he said this is the first time I've seen it being practiced, and I want to ask you for a favor. So I said, sure, what would you like? So he said, if you give me 5 days, I want to be in this atmosphere for 5 days, and I just want to observe. I said, sure. And I let the sisters know that, this is a pastor who's going to be observing, and he's going to be coming on to the sister side and so on. And we told him that the etiquette to maintain, not to talk to the sisters and not to just barge into a classroom or any of those things, and to respect the privacy of the sisters and so on. So he said, oh, no, don't worry. I'm just going to observe. I'm just going to observe. Brothers and sisters, would you believe, after 2 days, he came back and he said, I want to become a Muslim. He said, I want to become a Muslim. It took me by surprise. I said, you want to become a Muslim? He said, yes. I said, why? So he said, well, what I've seen here in these 2 days, I've never seen in my life. I said, what did you see? So he says, I had this impression that the sisters are totally ignored